Sweet. Well, here we go. Another round of decoding with Dregz. Now we're going to be getting into some LP pool action. Just get more in depth. Look into all that. Make sure we're actually making gains. Positive returns off of it. Rather than just holding. It's kind of the classic. If you could have just held, what would have been the better option? But yeah. First, I'm just going to look into Thor before we taper off into other DeFi fun. I think we were talking just before this a little earlier about injection. The 4-hour call, let's hold that up here. I had entered it, and on the left-hand side, you can see it was that, around 35, the 22 was the 35.34. We got a nice little entry there, and I think currently just 1x, so no leverage, but the full wallet amount in that account is running it. It looked like it went up, and I think when I was leveraged like 1.5, and I took off the leverage around there. There was like a 15-minute short call or something that had popped up, I think right around there, that I took a little leverage off just because it felt like it was going down, which it kind of did, but not as much as I thought, which was nice. Kind of the level I'm at here just kind of brings us up to speed. I bought, deleveraged, and now we're sitting here. What is that? Like 5 or something. What's that? Look at this thing here.
I didn't know you could deleverage.
Well, yeah, you could deleverage, if I have, say, $1,000 into, say, the trade and put another 500 worth, that's 1.5. And then so I can sell, that whatever quantifies as 500.
Okay.
And then I deleverage that
Gotcha.
way. So now if it crashes or does something crazy, I'm no longer in liquidation. There's no way I could be liquidated. Or,
Gotcha.
have more leverage to use once the price goes under my bag. So it's like I usually use leverage as more of a DCA thing in my more conservative but still degen wallets, but I just keep it like that. Try to keep it under 2x personally. I always feel like gives me a lot of room to not get wiped out and still have a little extra fun. But yeah, this trades up like 6% at the moment, which is cool. There was no, shorter term calls that were too bad, but I did put this when I checked it this afternoon. I saw that, 39, that 15-minute short. It kind of looks like, I always like to do these with minimal TA, just looking at Thor, but, this is a 4-hour view. So I feel like when I draw and stuff, so that would be a TP at, I think it did the lower one. And in this case, I would shave like at 25% of my buy there. I still want to be exposed more to the upside at a short call that I ran into when I made the long. This long was there and that short was there, so that was pretty ambitious and fun, and especially since the TPs on this TP3 is within the short call of the 4-hour. That just seems pretty beautiful to me. You could probably shave it off a little before it, like TP1 there too. Let's see, but I should finish.
And you're doing you're doing it with Drift?
Yes, I'm doing this through Drift myself.
Okay.
Is the main one I use. There's another one there. I'll just draw that.
So in this sense, because my bad.
Oh yeah, it's all good. For what reason? What I see there, just by drawing that line as a short call TP that I would add there, just like a minor TP on my bag, and then maybe buy back around the 30, 38 or around there too. But what that looks like to me is that it's going to do on the short term. Well, it's still 4-hour, but it's actually nice in the 4-hour, because if it does pump up here, it'll just make a double top, a little there, gets rejected again, and test something probably right around there to go up more, or it could go down like anything, but that's what I kind of see Thor's trying to tell me, that it's going to try and hit that, might get some resistance there and bounce down. So I could scoop up that 25% that I've sold here, and I might buy it back down there again a little too. Just seeing what goes on leaves me open to that. What is this here?
So, because the short, what on the 4 hour, is so close to the entry for, in relation to the longs TP3, would that be a case or scenario where you would let it ride into the short and take and go for TP3, or would you be more or less
Yeah, so for me, when I see that, that's exciting and I like it. It was a good trade and it has proper range too. It was like, yeah, the whole, even at the top end, you go up to there, it's like 27%. That's nice. So it's plenty to. It's a great example of kind of building the bag with a goal in mind. I would like to get there, and currently 75% of the bag is going to try and be sold at that 45.8, and that's kind of the lower part of the short there too. I'm not getting too greedy, but that still puts me, just below TP3 on this one. And for its movement, you can kind of see it kind of has some wild swings and down. What is that from that top here? Let's see. Yeah, still down 28 from that top, which is good. It just seems kind of more bullish to me, especially since it looks like we're just testing those areas, and I'm just open-minded that it might swing down just a little bit more too, like just keeping in mind that even a Sol and stuff, if you've looked at those charts, it kind of looks like there could be a slip down a little bit. And for me, I'm not too worried about something lower under that 32 anyways, but I just always imagine if we get there, am I going to be really frustrated that I didn't have any dry powder or leverage to throw in, or so I just always leave myself open to that downside, but I give myself the goal of the 45.8. And then along the way, so that was the 14th this call came up, so I don't think I took it then, but it was a few days ago now, three, maybe Sunday. But as the days rolled on, it's the 21st, and now this call popped up. This wasn't there when I initially started, but I added it as a new TP for myself. Just, I feel like it's not just a straight shot up. It's always just kind of about selling a little bit there, but leaving the bag to go up, and then that DCA section down there too. So I use kind of Thor's, those shorter time frame short calls as a point to TP myself, because I feel like it's, the market's a moving target, and Thor's taking a snapshot on those smaller time frames, or if I'm sitting down, I can throw that on, catch that micro movement into like that more macro. And so I guess I was looking at the 4 hour there too, but if we do the 30 minutes or something, it kind of makes sense in that 15. Let's go 15 minutes. Yeah, so it kind of makes sense because I'm bouncing between what I would hope and looks like Thor got was a nice little range. And of course I'm on the top side because for one, I like to catch them on the top just because I've missed a lot, and plus I'm using drift. So I have to kind of front run some stuff or DCA in, like, chop down my buys. If it was, I think it was down there a little lower, but I still had buys from like, 30, 38, and it got heavier as it went down. So I kind of try to jump in the play and bite a little by like a 10% of my wallet in or something. But definitely keeping a heavy like 70% plus down at the lower end. I just figured out it's just better it's nice to get a little in and ride the Thor call than to sit on the sidelines when you were so close But I also think too the market kind of front runs you too, because this is all, I want to say what Thor calls are public information, but the information Thor gets its calls from, or generates data or calls from, is public information. So everyone has the same information. So I think sometimes front running some things are pretty big brain moves. Yeah, it's kind of the idea of this call here that I'm running. And let's see. I don't know if you have any questions about kind of reasons or perspectives on that.
So I also use drift, and I think when I would try to short on the same account I have the long running, I think I fucked myself. I don't know. I don't understand it, right? So do you have several accounts for it?
I use, and you might notice on drift, there is your wallet on the top right corner. There's a little drop down, and you could use sub wallets. I don't like doing if I'm using, especially if I plan to use leverage, I definitely keep those separate. So I have a sub wallet under a main wallet, but they all act independently. There's nothing weird about a sub wallet. Plus, it all gains the same points, drift points under one, phantom or, one wallet account. So you have sub wallets within drift that you can open up. And then say you could have two trades running, doing their own things independently. And what sucks is if you have two different things open, the math gets a little weird. Once price moves up, you could be in profit on something or down on something else, and maybe the leverage is high and it could push into liquidation that wasn't anticipated just because something else dropped like 5% more on another asset. But
yeah,
the same coin, I haven't really done the same coin, but I would recommend it, since I think it would kind of confuse it a bit. Because you'd be selling or running two things at once. I think if you're shorting a coin, you're longing, you're definitely going to be needing two separate accounts, I think.
Yeah, I tried it, and then I was scratching my head and thinking, I fucked myself.
Yeah. It's one of those things, just like, I learned that one.
Yes, exactly.
Yo, what up, Dregz?
No, what up?
Just wanted to ask you if there's anything on Thor Pro that you think like really stands out compared to normal Thor that somebody should know about. Anything that we can utilize to up our trading game?
Let's jump right in, expose it. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's do that. Anything I really like? Yeah, I think the big thing is, I think I've mentioned this before, you could get the heat map anywhere, Trading View and whatnot will have heat maps that you can check out, and just need Thor Pro for it, but it's nice that it's here, especially with the assets that it's running calls for. That's a big one I liked. So when you check out, right when you open Thor Pro, you're going to end up seeing a bunch of calls that are relatively close to entry, so it kind of pumps up things that are proximally close. So if I'm just looking for a trade to take that's close, I would check it out, and like render right there, that's going to be another one I was going to chat about too, but it's pretty close. I
wanted to ask you about render and maybe using Thor Pro. We could look at it because I noticed there's a 15-minute long and a 15-minute short.
Rinder.
Rinder. I say Rinder?
No. I think we got keyed. Rinder. I got soundboarded.
Good. I just want to make sure I didn't do it.
It happens easily.
It can slip real quick.
Damn. It's always there. See, so yeah. Generally, if I'm looking for something like, okay, we got render, and I know I'm taking that, I don't usually use Thor Pro for really sitting there and looking at it, because I like the chart visual of regular Thor when I find what I'm looking for. So, I like this call. I'll probably go back, switch to regular Thor and check it out there, just because the boxes are all done out. But what I like to do, if I'm checking out stuff like that, and you're looking at render here, you get a lot of those little calls. And like it, because you could hit the drift button and it only does like the calls on drift. I think they need to update a couple since they've added some new coins, thankfully. But Bitcoin, you could do the Thordinal calls there too, which is cool. But if we just wanted one, is that simple? Yeah, take them all off. And then I would just look at Rinder. There she is. Oh damn, they pumped with some new calls there.
Yeah.
So
I was looking at these yesterday. There's a 15 short and a 15 long.
Yeah, and the 4
and they're
hours
pretty close
short
to each other.
Yeah. Oh damn. Alright. We clean it up. So you got the shorts and a couple longs. But yeah. So if you just get out the shorts that are blocking in, that's kind of cool. It seems kind of, I think, bullish to me that there's that many shorts. Could be something. Looking at that, 1:15, the 1 hour, it looks good. And actually, when I saw that a couple days ago, I should just switch over to that chart here. I actually sold, because I was in that trade. I think, my good old chart there. It's been in that zone perfectly for a while now. Let's see. All right, what was I doing?
You just trade render spot?
No, this is also in drift too.
Okay.
I think I had a couple nights ago. Where is it? Let's see, that's why. I think it was falling down through here, and I was getting close to my entry at the time. It was a 1091. Yeah, 1091. Just dropping stuff. 1091 there, and I saw it getting close to that entry, and I don't like taking losses, so I think it was, I don't know, a little under 5% up on the trade. It was right through here too. But I saw it descending, especially when it was descending. I saw the call for a long. So, especially on the short term, it was like, okay, there's a short term call on the 15 an hour for, that zone here. And I think, that's where I put the green line, was where I was put the buy. But I think on drift, I actually staggered it out, I think, to like 1060, small amount at 1060, like going all the way down to maybe to 1038. So that's something I took. This call is the reason why I jumped out of the trade at 1098 or 1091, whatever's there, because it just seemed like there was downward pressure. When you looked at the chart, it started going down. But I lost confidence when I saw a Thor call there as well, especially when those TPs put me right back up. You could tell that it looks like it just wants to dip down again, where it's been bouncing a little bit. Let's do the shorter time frames. Yeah, it just kind of looks like it would dip a little bit just to get that RSI down to the very bottom, where, it looks like it's usually bouncing, generally, at least the last time. It looks like it just wants to cool off a bit more too, and just hit that, go back up to where we were, which would be hanging out right, looks like where it's having a little resistance there too, or trending there. But I think taking that call is something that I'm down with. But let's switch back to, I do like Thor Pro. It's really good at finding the trade, but I said, I kind of like going back here. This is honestly regular Thor's where I spend most of the time. there's a lot of short calls that would be added into this here. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's kind of hard to gather that, but since we're talking about, yeah, I guess, hey, let's have a conversation about all these calls. Even up there, damn. So knowing all those shorts there, let's see, I had some previous trades that I had some TPs at, like the 1240. I took it, I think it hit right here on the 17th, and then another one almost hit my big one up there, but I think I just market sold like around this coupling because I could see it was losing strength. But it's kind of cool to see how those kind of come back into play a little bit, as this is a resistance zone. And again, this was probably a couple weeks ago, either I think an entry or I think it was like an entry or like a short call. And sometimes when it actually looks like a common, it's like everything's tapping it, I just kind of leave it there too as like a guidance.
The size of the candles tell you that it's losing momentum, and that's why you decided to stop going sideways and just bail out.
Well, yeah, it's kind of just when it kind of clusters like this, you can see that it just kind of indecisive is what I just see. It's like, okay, so we had momentum there, it's tipping, it goes down, oh damn, and then I kind of go back up from there. So, okay, cool, but we didn't go all the way back up, so it could have shot up, but at the time, it was like a 30%, I was 30% profits already. You could always get more, but I'm already happy with that, especially if I could get 10 or 5%, I'm happy. So when you look at it, you go, okay, you just take the profit and walk and go here. And I think I didn't take it all. I think I took most of it, and then it started going here to this 12, and I think I took more there at the previous because, yeah, I think it got most of it there. Then I kept DCAing out when I really was confirmed it was gone. And then now we're back here, kind of where it all was started. I think I started doing this range right through here, and I just started getting into.
It sounds like you kind of stick with you might be long, you might be short. It doesn't sound like you're taking a whole lot of time in between, like you're playing out the same tokens between longs and shorts, like continuously.
Yeah, and then so the heady kind of part there is, so if, again, I just use the good old $1,000 thing, is if you have $1,000 in there, and I did a couple trades, cool, boom, you got 20%. A lot of times I could, compound that, and you trade with the 1,200, get more, and trade higher. Right now, it's kind of, I take it with the intent to use it into something, like I'll take the 200 and remove it from drift and add it to a liquidity pool or something like that, so I can have kind of more exposure to different things. Or what I like too was taking some of the profits there and then putting them back into this render liquidity pool. So it took the profits and I put it in back and just topped off the pool within this orange range, which I can see it's just stuck. It's been stuck there. Just that these were done by some Thor calls, I think on like a 1 day or 4 hour. And then I kind of moved them a little bit too, just to get there. But yeah, I do like consistently taking like a big bag and shaving profits, and then you can walk away with them too. Sometimes I'll add more, just depends on my campaign at the moment. Where do I want capital focused? Sometimes it's like, ooh, I want to get these trading accounts up and get some more trades going. Sometimes hey, if I could have 2 separate ones trading at $1,000, and you get a couple 5, 10, 20%, got 400, you take the 400, you put it somewhere else, that just generates maybe a more passive thing. Throw it into Thor. I don't know. There's just so much that I just don't even, there's just too many things to do, so little capital.
Yo,
For real.
Is render SPL token?
I
Is this on Solana? Is this SPL
Oh yeah,
token?
yeah. You can.
Okay.
I think they've a couple months ago, or time flies again. But a while back they made it an SPL token there. I think it was on some other chains, but they're building liquidity and they're kind of doing that thing. I think that's why they're incentivizing this DLM pool right there too, just to get extra token rewards and stuff, just to provide liquidity, because there's not a lot right now on it. So that's also why, you know, jump in the pool, because there's not a ton of liquidity there. But yeah, you could spot this. You could totally spot buy it on Jupiter. Make sure you type in. One thing I learned with this token is there's some scam ones. It's you have to type in, like, if I type in RNDR, oh oops, it's already there. RNDR and like all wait, come on. Okay, maybe they fixed it, but yeah, last time I was looking up this token, there's a bunch of RNDRs that were not render, so I just type it out, RENDER. It should have RNDR at the token thing, but yeah, when I was looking it up before, yeah, it looks like they got rid of them, but there's a bunch of scam ones that were just looking like it was that token. But yeah, render, not rinder. Yeah, that one's pretty dope.
Rinder. Rinder.
No. Yeah, so that's
Every time I hear that, I just think grinder.
Oh man, I know. Doomed myself. But
For real.
yeah, no, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm really, and then again, that's when I said, I think on the other call where I was open for it to have a leg down, was because also a lot of other calls I see have those longs that, does this one have? Oh, this doesn't have one. A few had calls that looks like a leg down. So that kind of always, like Jupiter, where is that? I think that's when I saw. So again, this is kind of like just looking at Thor and seeing some ideas. Yeah, the 4-hour Jupiter. Whoa, 22 cents. Let's go. I doubt it would get there, but Thor thinks it's giving it a chance. But anyways, I'll just, something like that, I think that's really far off. I wouldn't be concerned, but who knows? It's crypto. But anyways, these look reasonable. That, you know, that'd be really cool, the 0.58. But this is kind of what I noticed too in the one day. Is like got 90 cents there, shows up as like a leg down as a possibility. Then I think Sol had something too. Yeah, well, I mean, that's 153. See, that's a little leg down too. Everything made that little mountain there, and it's gonna come back down there. It's reasonable to do so, and not that crazy. So that's why I'm leaving a little bit like deleveraged of a couple of things, even at injection. This guy, I kind of deleveraged myself up there on a short call, because I feel like it could retest this long call. Wouldn't it be absurd for that to go back down there? So I sold a little there, bought back down there, but it's kind of seeing the trend between some calls that tell me that I think the market would take a little dip, but not totally weak, but see if it's doing a little trend there. Kind of has that slight downtrend vibe. Going back there, the 4-hour short, I mean, on render looks pretty good, so I would definitely try to get in on this call. Where would I short stuff, or not short, but take profits seeing all these? I'll leave that, but I'll take this one. $12.99, $12.8. So seeing that 12 on the 1 hour on a shorter term kind of makes me want to keep the 12.4. It's because I've had that there for a while, and it seems like commonly used, or the price action does stuff around that zone. So I'll keep that as a maybe TP point. I know there was a couple that were below it, like, oh, but there's a 1136. Yeah, it could do that, but that's within the price action. The TPs for this short are above the entry for this long, and because there are so many that have such higher momentum, I think that would be okay to skip, unless you were super high leveraged, or something. Then yeah, sure, that's a good point to cool it down a little bit for a quick price movement. But I know, as you can see, I'm a little more okay with sitting on the bags for a second. Again, you see the 1298. I just always look for the common numbers there, and we see 1298 there, 1299 or 1280 there. I saw 13 a couple times too. Kind of makes it so.
Yeah, they're really wedged in there, eh? So even just keeping an eye on those on your charts and layering in is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then you kind of see this whole range here kind of goes from, okay, well, if I sold some at the, what was it, 1240, you probably could, but it looks like it would just shave some here. I wouldn't care to get that, but I would want to be somewhere in the upper middle side of that, just looking at the boxes. And then you look to the left in the chart, or I could just, I can't scoot them closer, but you could see in the upper side there, it looks like it's hitting. And it's kind of, if I could cluster up those, just looking at the line and seeing a lot of intersections there, or tips touching there, then it's something I would go for. So it looks like it's 1322
on Rinder,
and then
tips touching on Rinder.
tips touching on Rinder. It's not easy, but it's honest work.
Tips are definitely touching on Rinder.
I know they took. Yes, they took our tipping function here away, so we have
Dicking
to
around with Dregz.
dicking around with Dregz. Yeah. So 13 was that? Yeah, let's say I'll do a TP at that zone there too, and then maybe do 25% there, and then 50% at the moon bag. Let's see, it's 1 hour, go to 4 hour, we're stronger, and maybe I would go a little bit under 15. That's looks like price. It hasn't gone that high, so that's like all-time high. And then you could, I don't know, I would front run it, because if you're using drift, I just put it down there. And that would be cool to get up there, but again, if you have on your way there more calls in the short term, when you get to, as time moves on and the price gets up here in the 13.22, you could evaluate how strong things are. If you see a lot of long calls pushing it down again, like just as many short calls there are here, it looks like it just looks like there's a lot of zones where this could go up. That's cool. It's like upward movement and resistance zones there. But here we got like a long call to take, but if there's a bunch of long calls, that's where I get kind of skittish on jumping in or holding the bag a lot more on the shorter time frame. But yeah, so I try to take that long here and write it up at a couple zones. And if you do that, just do the price range and get your entry in. Yeah, the TP1 would be 18%, 27, and 45%, and that's below that TP. But again, we're using shorts as a TP, so that isn't always a thing. I should actually, like I said, you should always look at the invalid zones. Oop. So actually, that's a good point. Follow my own advice here, and why invalidation lines are fun to have. So so Thor's saying if it does go to that long call, then this will be gone. This will be invalidated. And I have to kind of look at that for everything, because what's going to happen is if it does that movement, most of these are going to just be gone by that time you're looking here again. So yeah, this will be gone. what makes it cool? Yeah, so I still hold true to the first two we did, like the 13.22 and this seem most likely. So maybe I would put 50% there, 25% there, and just see what happens with that other remaining. Or, when you do leverage, you can figure out some things in between. But these ones invalid at 10.01 would be right around this orange line. So this seems like still a good TP. It seems like a good call that will still be there even though this long call hits. That's the thing that I was again like to notice too. If though, since that's a long, sometimes invalidation lines are strong support, and this was a call I think a while ago too. But it does make sense when you start looking at it that if it breaks the support here, it's gonna find somewhere to catch, and Thor's kind of telling you that this is where it's probably gonna catch. And just kind of reading that, it's kind of how you get that consensus of, okay, so if we just randomly shoot up, yeah, sure, you might get there, but most likely that's not gonna happen yet on the short term. So if you want moonbags in the spot, that's cool, and you can wait to those big ones there. And I'd still leave this line even if Thor invalidates it, only because it's a 4-hour call in a new price discovery area that could serve me in the future. Maybe if things change and the range then becomes 13.22 to 15.2, it could just start ranging up there as well. But we don't know until it happens, I guess. So that's kind of a fun way to look at all those, just a wall of short calls and what to kind of do with it. And I do sift through them. Sometimes the dates will tell me something different, but right now it's the invalidation zones that I think I'd be going off of, and how they correlate to the call when it starts playing out, and how you can, you're already thinking of what both price action and how to be exposed to it. In this case, I'm not exposed to it till it goes down to that entry, but that's okay because I'm already in another trade. But yeah, if any questions or interpretations.
The ratio of are you more of a short trader or a long trader in this market right now? Swing long, or doesn't matter?
Like duration or long shorts?
Long and shorts. So ratio.
I'll be longing. I don't ever short. I was just starting to get the hang of it in the little bear market there. Things were always going down.
A little easier then, eh?
Yeah, it was a little easier. Here, no, I'd rather try and get a long to touch that short than the shorting here. It could work, but it just burns differently because it's like, yay, it's going up. Oh man, and it just can get out of control way faster. And plus I have to do stop loss if I'm doing that, and I don't really like using stop loss. So
it feels wrong shorting in this market.
Yeah, and I've lost more shorting just because I need stop loss when I'm shorting, but I don't want it because I know how the market, just tries to slap that liquidation that makes sense, and I don't know, stop loss. I don't like to be stop loss hunted.
Do you become? Yeah, I was just about to ask. Do you really just become a target? Setting up a. I mean, not. There's obviously, risk management reasons why you'd want to use one, but in the pool of, sharks, fucking in the order books, yeah. Do you essentially become a target, based off not just your order but that stop loss for a majority of high volatile scenarios?
I don't think say myself or would be considered a target. I'm not that big. I think more of what happens is there's reasons why we get calls in certain areas, and if everyone's shorting in the zone, there's probably there's a pocket where most people will probably try and short, and a place where you can wreck them real quick by just getting it pumped. Now that's something we can't control. That's nothing that we would ever do, but we could be in the same waters of where the majority of liquidity is hiding. That's when reasons why you see those little cloud maps sometimes and they go, oh, this is a pocket of liquidity. I think there you can make things a little bit more, it's being in the same water of, I think, those other big whales. But, that's the whole game, is you like to follow the ride the coattails of that. So it's kind of not you, they're going after them, but if you put yourself in a risk zone, it could get you. But yeah, I just don't like to open myself up to that, but it's just that's why I don't short. You're just a different train of thought. I think I'd have to inverse all my charts and stuff.
Or that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's just it's all that. I think a psychological thing too. Again, it's like there's just certain numbers where everyone's at, like the dollar mark, the $10, the $5. It's those whole numbers.
Oh yeah, most def.
Yeah, it's just for some reason it's just like, hey, if they do this, they can sway the market in a certain way. But yeah, there's a lot more that goes on to that. Just gotta watch out. Sweet. I don't know if there's any. I think that was a fun round of some things. I don't know if there's any other charts or calls you guys were curious about looking into more. Or seeing. These are the ones that I'm pretty involved in, but.
The new tokens like Jupiter and Pus are pretty difficult. I need more Pus, but it's only up, so I don't know what to look for.
Well, Jupe.
There's a long at like 20 cents.
Yeah.
Right.
Just crazy, yo.
Yeah, like the 92, 58, 33, 23. I doubt it. And then you have to look at the invalidation. It's at 143. It's not impossible to, invalidate that. I think if you wanted more jupe, I think reasonable buys would be, the 92 to 88. So yeah, the 92 or 58 might be good zones. I'm just talking about the top of the ranges, but it seems like even between those could be fun. Like get some at 92 and then maybe some at 66, I think would be maybe a decent one too. But it's because I get in between those ranges, which would be fun. Like 66 would be, it wouldn't be bad to go in between those two boxes. I know you have these boxes looming, but I don't know, that seems pretty crazy to me. And I've seen some low calls before like that just kind of hanging out. It's always good to take notice, so I wouldn't take a high leveraged call up here or there for sure. But, I just be aware of that zone. That'd be really great to buy. Hell yeah, but what is that? TPs on that one. Yeah, geez, yeah. That would be a fun day. Go right back up to $1. So, yeah. I think you'll get another chance at 90 cents though. That seems the most likely for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then
and Pus?
Yeah. Nice. The 1 hour, 4 hour. I see the 4 hour. Yep. 70 cents and 60 cents. Yeah, 60 cents has come up a lot in the past weeks to get invalidated, but I see it pop up again. So that's always, I don't have a chart that I'm working on or something for that, but I have watched it and I've had some spot buys at 60 for a while just because I see it coming up, and now I see it again, which is good. And that could definitely happen. I'd keep some action there. If I was taking this trade, I would buy here like, you know, with my whole account, like, and then maybe leverage when I got down there, you know, in my personal viewpoint there on that. But yeah, it seems like both are pretty good, and I think it's realistic, though it has just gone up, up, up. So when you take a step back there, 60 cents isn't so weird. I think 60 cents is like a 40% drop. Yeah, I mean, over time that could happen, or it hits that, jumps down and shoots back up, but it's the bowl, so we'll see. But yeah, I like how that seems like something that could hit too, just like the Jupiter on the higher one. It just seems really likely. This is questionable because it's been here a lot, but it's been a couple weeks since we saw that. But over time it might hit, but I think more realistically that's 70, of course. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, it's just gone up so much. It hasn't really had a significant kind of test on the down. Yeah, just kind of go up, range in, slight down, up, range up. Gets a little more crazy up there, but yeah, no, I'd check it out if I wasn't involved in some other ones. But yeah, my spot remains at 60. But honestly, it would be kind of, yeah, I don't know, it'd be fun to get on the other. Let's see. Sweet. And I think now we'll probably pivot, unless anyone has some more questions there. I think we'll get into it's pool time. So I think it's time to see what's going on with the pools. All right.
Get out your sunscreen.
Yeah. Yep. Refresh the page. I'm going to be leaving. Oh. Okay. So, let's see here. I'll pull up the Kira. Sweet. Oh, damn. Damn, I missed it. Are you kidding me? Oh, shit. Kira went down.
Nice.
There.
I had to buy order 8 cents.
Oh, hell yeah. No, it's...
Yeah,
damn.
Let's fucking go.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully it hit, because I went under that. Whew. Damn, I missed it. I was waiting for it, because I totally... Yeah, I was waiting for that 8-cent zone. It's probably going to happen again, though. That's okay. It seems totally normal for that to happen. And sweet. So actually, let's put this on a larger time frame. No, Kira. All right. So I know the pools have been one of those fun things that's been popping up, and recently, really, it's been successful. The frog community definitely has come together. I think 2 weeks ago there was only 20. It was hovering like 10 to 20,000 total value locked, and now we're sitting above 200,000. It's pretty damn impressive, I'd have to say, especially without any crazy, funding just from the community. That's notable. But that stuff's not free. Oh, I should just keep a look on that page here for Kira. Yeah, so I'm just going to start from scratch and kind of make my pool, just to join one. Here it looks like a few have popped up, like the Kira win, Kira stand, Kira whiff, Kira bonk. Those are fun. Little hard, more difficult, I'd say, to make sure you're getting those gains. But if you have those coins and you don't mind going back and forth, or if Kira just totally outpaces some of these, you might just you might lose some Kira. But I don't know. These are so volatile that anything can happen. But I won't focus on those. The Motai, that one's got me. I love it. I love how it's the second largest one, too.
Yeah. I have Kira Mutai and Kira Bonk, and for sure Kira USDC. But yeah,
yes,
thought it's fun.
That's
had
fun.
some Bonk and some Mutai. Yeah.
Especially when it's larger like that. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, hey, I'd say that's a fun one to check out, especially since there's a little more liquidity in there. So Meteora is awesome. They're cool. They're also building. So you'll see stuff when you're looking and browsing. Sometimes these 365 the yields are not accurate. This kind of screen, this UI isn't as refreshed as the one inside the pool. So if I click Kira, you see it's 100,000 locked, not, what does that say, 61. So there's 40% more there than what it's saying. I don't know why, but it's one of those things. Anyways, let's see. They're all pretty cool, but for this basic, we're gonna do the biggest one, the Kira USDC 4% pool. You can see it's pretty dope. The virtual price, just reading some of these numbers and metrics and what they mean, is virtual price is 1.789 and change. This means when this pool was opened, the amount of fees generated are 78%. Now, this gets more difficult to read as the pool gains a lot more liquidity. So when it was $10,000, let's say, and we're gaining fees on that, you're making fees and the virtual price is gained because like $100 in fees for 1,000 would be a different percent than 100,000. So it's at the time it was recorded, it's made that much money for people and re-injected into the pool. Now, since it's 100,000 this week, that number won't mean it's generated 78% of 110,000. So that number doesn't exactly correlate. It's more of like a milepost, if you will, for how healthy the pool is. And so the numbers go up faster and slower based off of fee generation compared to the total value locked, because obviously $1,000 in a $10,000 pool is different than $100,000. So it's more close to 1% than 100%. What else here? So what I use, if I'm entering this pool now, we'll just say it's 79, like 0.79. Tomorrow, if it's 89, that means the pool has generated 10% more in Kira and or USDC, depending on the spread. So you could have, if you gained $100 in fees, $20 could be in something like the USDC, and the other could be different there too, based off of its spread. Usually that number in these kind of pools are going to be similar, but when you earn, say, Kira, when you've earned Kira, the price may be changed from when you have earned it. And because of that, sometimes the numbers don't match 50-50. But generally, if the price action's the same, it is. But what I mean to say, too, is if you had $100 in the pool, and it's now the next day, 88 or 89, you should have $110 worth of assets that were gained. Now, it's not that your account is 10% higher, it just means you've gained, it means this pool as a whole gained the whole pool 10% in value in fees for whatever amount was there at the time. And so for you, you're able to get a bit of that. I'm trying to see too if the math, I'm just checking that too. I think describing that I'm trying to see, wait, no, yeah, that works. Alternatively, if I misspoke too, it could be divided by your portion of the pool, and I think we'll get to explain something else to get into that. But that's kind of what we want to see, that number go up, and it's a percentage. You can see the volume again. The UI is kind of slow, so for me, I want to see what has been done in 24 hours for this 4% pool. I go to Bird Eye, and then I click this drop down menu, and then I could see Kira USDC and the Meteora, and it looks like in a 24-hour period it's an 82k volume, not 33. So the numbers there are a little different. So I have to wait, a day or so, and then it refreshes. So it's like, I don't know, a decent chunk of time kind of behind on its recording, but everything's happening and it is there in real time. So it's just a little odd when I'm trying to review some of the numbers too, because 33, I'm like, hey, I think we did a lot more than that, and we did 50k more than what it's registering there, and that's pretty dope. Now, I think before I get more detail, I'm going to just start a pool myself, just so we can see how that kind of works too. And then we'll get into some more of the impermanent gains. So if I wanted to put $200 liquidity into Kira pool, cool. Got 180 USDC, 200 of Kira, but $20 worth. So probably going to need to match its spread. I think a lot of people know that. You just kind of connect, you get a wallet there, and then if I wanted to put 200, it's an even 50-50 split, so that means I'd need to put $100 in and match it with that. But wait, I forgot something that's happened recently, is their UI needs that little slippage marker there, and you have to save that setting, 0.5 or 0.1. I think both work just fine. But when you do that, I have to re-enter that in. Oh, that was right. Okay, good. I forgot Kira went up a lot. But yeah, before the UI was not matching the ratios, and if that does happen to you and the ratio is off, go ahead and change your slippage, save the setting, and then it will reflect the appropriate amount. Oh, see, there it kind of did it again. Yeah. Okay. So for me, now I have not the right balance. I have 200 Kira and I need more. So I'm just going to go to good old Jupiter. Get our Kira. Let's do. Then of course I'm gonna run back. Oops. 970. Oops, I'll need a bit more. It's alright. We'll just make it work for the pool. If it's doing that, sometimes it gets a little off from its actual price, but that's fine. This is where it gets fun. Alright, scoop that there. We'll actually just do this. 70. Just go ahead and do the 80. Oop. More expensive than Bird Eye rate. Oops. Hey, gives me that warning, so it's because the price is pretty volatile right now. So it looks like I'm gonna go for Bird Eye because it says there's a better rate there. This is the real in the trenches of just trying to load a pool there when the price is a little volatile. Let's see, 80 and 74, cool. I'm gonna buy some Kira. Let's go. Let's let that go through. Yeah, it was successful. Right on. Cool. Let's see. We got that there. Sweet. Now, let's see how much. Oh, sorry, I gotta reconnect that. Just hit the max Kira. So I try to do that. Sometimes I guess you just have to match the pool's ratio there. So sometimes you want to do the $100 amount. It doesn't necessarily work like that. So I try to get around the right zone and for the sake of making it easy, we'll just do it like that. And max the Kira, whatever Kira I have, and match that with the USDC amount. That's 97. So cool. What I like to do here too is notarize what's going on. So I really figure it out too when you hit deposit. So ready to deposit into the pool. And so I see 96.4 USDC. 96.4 USDC. And then what's that? 935 Kira. And then we confirm that. Cool. So once that goes through, you'll be swimming. You'll be swimming in the pool finally. Cool. Now the transaction's completed, and I'll then record, say that at the time was 197.15. Cool. That's total value locked. Nice. And then I like to say this too. When did we enter this pool at? The chart says, I'll just record it for reference, but 0.099. I'll say 0.1. That's just an average there. That's pretty close anyways. So I'll just say at 0.1, just so it's good to notarize when we, let's say decoding. And we'll check this maybe next week too, see what goes on. Decoding, LP, 1%. Of course, you could use Excel, not the notebook, but this works fine for me right now. Cool. So now you're in the pool. You have your assets going. They're trading. Now you're marked there for trades and ready to let people dump on you for 4% or sell your sweet Kira at a cost. And now that kind of brings us into the big question. Should I have just held my Kira and not put it in? That's when you come and hit the, what was that, impermanent loss. I think one more thing I think I wanted to mention too before that is I gained LP tokens, and some people may or may not know what's going on with those, but that just represents your portion of the pie in the pool. So there's X amount that are made to get your portion. There's, what is it? Essentially a ticket. Your ticket to redeem what that token is worth. Now we can understand when the LP tickets go up in value, those tokens, your virtual price it's a good correlation to that to kind of see, hey, I try to do a little bit more math to see what that means, but I just haven't figured out it yet. But it's good. So when we go to withdrawal, we want to, for me, this is where I see and compare on this UI how my pool is doing. And that's why it's good to have your starting amount red. And I'm not too concerned about this. This is for later, but just to see how much Kira have I sold, how much USDC is still hanging out there. And then that really helps too for this next step that we're gonna check out. So we know about the liquidity tokens, the LP tokens. Don't burn them. Don't do anything stupid with them. They're necessary for you to get your money back in your coins, or else if you don't have those, you don't get access to it. Something that you could do too, which I might get a little bit more into, is security. You put like 10,000, 20,000 in, and you also want a cold storage wallet. My ledger, I don't want it to be interacting online. So you can send these LP tokens to your cold storage wallet. Just make sure you're doing it right, because if you lose it, game over. But if you want added security, I think that's something that is fun to look into. I test it with a small amount, of course, like anything, and then go from there. But this is your rights to redeem. An Orca, they give you an NFT, but Meteor gives you an LP token. Now I think we got the baseline for. And then any questions, of course, before I jump into the next.
I have a question to the LP token, MLP token.
Yeah.
I recognized, for example, the Kira Bonk pool gives me 200 of that, and the Kira USDC pool I got only 2 or 3. Do you think that somehow matters for any points that maybe come in the future or anything?
Oh, so for point stuff, like, let's see, crap, go to Meteora, let's type in 10%, let me see there, oh shoot, sorry, I should have typed in, alright, and then here, so, this is the points thing that they have going on. So for every point you have, so every dollar you have, in this case we put in $197 value. Every day you'll get 1 point per total value. The real kicker is the fee generation. It's hard to monitor what fees are. They're going to upload that UI soon. They're just still working on the point display, but you are gaining points. 1,000 points per dollar of fees you earn. So that's why the 4% pool is really cool. It just upped your fee generation. Obviously, you gain from that, but you also are getting a lot more going for it too. And I think right now we're in March, so it's 1.2x on all the rewards, and then 1.1 in April, and then in May they're gonna revisit this concept. So right now you are getting points for it being locked, and more so for every dollar of fee earned.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Then, so I did monitor one pool. I had kind of adjusted some things there, but we're going to do the math on a pool that started at 0.015. So we entered back in the old days when Kira was just a cent. And faction upgrades were reasonably priced. We entered this pool. So let's see. Oh, I didn't have the value. Oh, I think it was 115. So that'd be 3K. Yeah. I'll do the math on that later. Sorry. But yeah, that should be 3K starting. Okay, so it looks like this contract is entered with, not 3K, it's 300. So 150, you have to match a pool, so yeah, 150, that was 150 of Kira at the time. Let's see, 940 should have been points. I think 141, okay, so sometimes, you know how the pool gets a little off there too sometimes. But for sake of conversation, we'll continue. It was 300 value. Now, the Kira value at, let's see, so if we, yeah, it's a 0.1, we'll still use 0.1 as math. So Kira, we had started the pool with 9,400 Kira and 150 USDC. That was at 10 times, around 10 times or 8 times lower at 0.015. You started with $300. Cool. Now we go to Kira. Well, let's see, 62, 67 times 0.1. That's 66. 6. We'll just round up 7, and then. So that we're just.
I didn't got how you got this 0.1 and 0.015.
Yeah. Sorry for my notations. So 0.015. Let's bring it back. I had started a pool, and just adjusted the price a little bit, but the value entered. But let's just say I started this pool and the Kira one at 4%. When the price was 0.015. So I didn't enter here this pool was entered like back when so Kira was still ranging under here, like it was about 0.015. This is when the pool was made, because it's just hanging out through there, and then it shot up. So the question here is, should I have held? So the pool started with, let's see, this math here. So during the time it was 0.015, we put $300 in. That was split with 9,400 Kira, which was about 150 value at the time. And then to match that, I had to put 150 USDC. And then that was during the time of the 0.01, 1 cent. The value currently, now we want to say, okay, how is it going? Time has passed. Fast forward time a couple weeks. Here we are now. I look at my thing and I go to withdrawal, and it gives me these two numbers here, like Kira, USDC. You go to withdrawal, and it gives me a reading. That reading was this, right? So I now have less Kira, about 679, let's say 3,000-ish less Kira, but was at almost 510 more dollars into there. Cool. So the value of this, what I was looking at right there, was the value of Kira at 1 cent and USDC at 1 cent, which is still the same. So then you add that together, I'm just seeing my total value locked currently. It would be 2 that plus 665. So now, after a couple weeks, my TVL in the pool is this. So that's the total amount of assets there that we had. Cool. That's like 4 times, it's above 4 times as much TVL we started with. But the question at hand is an impermanent loss. Is this number looks really nice, but sometimes it could be deceiving because the value of Kira went up so much or so fast. Maybe you didn't have enough fees generated to offset that. And that's where this will kind of be making a little more sense now. So basically, I think I have this up here too to help kind of read. Ignore like this number value, but the value after the swaps minus the value if held equals your impermanent loss. So in this case, they started with 22,500 in the pool, and now the pool is 22,400. So they're just seeing their impermanent loss there. So that's what I will do here. That's why I did the math on that other one just there. So after swaps was 292 total value minus 300. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's not the right. Yes, sorry. I'm just thinking here. My bad. Math. Value if held. So I was supposed to now. All right. I got that number after swaps is 1292. Boom. I put that there. That's the first part of the problem right there. Now I need to see what would the value be of my starting Kira if I held it. So then we'll keep the number 0.1 just for that. So it'd be 9,400 times 0.1 at current value. That's $940. So if I just held that 9,400, I'd have 940. And now we can see our impermanent loss. In this case, it's not impermanent. That's because our fees, here, let's get this number, sorry, 352. So we're actually positive, 352 in value. It's kind of hard because everything's moving still, you have a volatile asset, but in the snapshot in time, this is what we're looking at. So you could see that almost 25, you made about 25% in fees compared to that total value locked about. So this means, the pool is generating. So it's better that I threw it in the pool than if I had just held it. This math is different for everyone who joins compared to when they join. So if you join up here, it could be maybe a little different for you. Your story could be different in that it goes, Kira goes down to 6 cents. You started up here. It might be a little inverse for you. You'll be up Kira. You'll be doing this math and doing it with the Kira rating, but you'll see you're going to be loading up on the Kira, but it looks weird at the time. Like when we're up here, everyone's like, well, if Kira pumps, I'm going to have nothing left in the pool. But that's kind of frankly not exactly the case, as the pool, you're involving yourself into a virtual broker, and it's an AMM, automatic market maker. And they price themselves out well enough so it causes some slippage, but it's advantageous to the protocol and for you because it wants you to win as well. It just spreads it out in a way that you're not dumping all of your coins in a full range contract. I should be able to ride with my original. If I put that much in, I should be able to ride that for some time. As you can see, we did about a 10x movement, and only, what is that, 3,000 Kira was lost, maybe a third, Yeah, so 30% of Kira was down, but the price value went up 10x. That's still pretty good. If it 10x again, maybe another 30% of that would be gone. But now we're dealing with some fatter numbers, and you're going to be pretty happy anyways. But I think it's on shorter term, it doesn't look as good. Sometimes if volume is low or the pool isn't getting, this is when this comes in handy. I don't think I've seen a way to see each day, but if the pool isn't really generating much fees and the price is moving a lot, so obviously your pool isn't getting any of the hits, isn't part of the trading because it doesn't have as much liquidity, you're going to maybe not make as much fee yield as something else. So the fee yield offsets what could potentially have been a loss, and that's what's really important to know. And if we did 970 divided by 3, is it 65? No, sorry, I think that's, yeah. So this pool will be earning like 2%. So it's like the large numbers look crazy and don't mean much to me. I like to see it on the thing. So I just divide this by 365 and get your days. So this pool is making about 2.16% as of today. As of the last 24 hours, it's generated that, which is great. But you see that 2%, what is that? Yeah, the 2% goes to you. Yeah. But when you're looking at fees, you have to kind of divide that by how much percent of total pool volume you are. If you had $10,000 in total value locked, you would have 10% of the pool and have rights to 10% of that fee. So you would get $132 back in, for example, if you had 10% of the pool. So that's what you can see. It's a big whale thing too. But if there's a lot of value in there, then that's great. Kind of just going through these pretty quick, but we have that number currently today. And then I can't ignore the other pool. You have to compare them. We want to get the best value and fees generated, or else you're just going to have impermanent loss, which is not good. But impermanent loss isn't something that goes away, is something that can go away if the price goes back to where you had entered. And that's kind of where we like ranging a bit. And that's why if you entered here, actually entering a pool at point 0.1 here isn't so bad, because you might be able to catch those dips. It might come back up and you can exit there with what you put in. and I'm not afraid. For me, I've been riding that and just getting those fees, and because the fees are so great, until someone comes in with another 500,000 and throws that in the pool, for me, I'm getting, if you're getting 2% a day, yeah, that's great. But you have to always kind of monitor and make sure, hey, is your pool collecting fees? And it seems like 2% is really good. It's been at 2 to 3% a day plus for a while. It's hard to see when it's 99.99 because you can't see the actual percent yield. It's just over 1,000, but can't really do the calculation on that. Another thing too, I guess, since we're talking about it, there are when impermanent loss can happen. Those new or thinly traded coins. So I'd say Kira, has not have proper price discovery. Actually, I think we're currently sitting there and doing it, but yeah, and I think we're getting to be a larger, and you're seeing those little arbitrage traders, those little bots going in between the pools, which is really cool. It does help us because when they're kind of equalizing the pools, and it's all right. Sometimes you see, they're like sucking money out of the thing, but it's not, especially if you have the proper fees. They are kind of creating some volume too, which I think is pretty cool. That we're starting to see those with the different assets there. It's that the impermanent loss can also happen if you allow wider range trading. I want to add this because we're in full range, so I'm not too concerned. And then of course small tokens. So if you're in a small pool, you can get pushed around, and like I said, the arbitrage bots will bully you if you're like under 600 pool and stuff like that. But that's not something we're really concerned with at this point. Let's see, trading. Yeah, and again, it's more, you get the impermanent loss happens a lot more if you're trading, doing the Solana Kira pools or the Motai Kira pools. Those are going to be definitely, there's a bit more math to that, or a little more variables you want to watch out for, because if Motai goes all the way down in value, then you're just going to have that coin, and if it did, any one of those coins goes down to, a low close to zero, you'll lose all that Kira, and unlikely that coin goes back up. USDC, always $1. It's a pegged asset, so you have one less volatile asset to monitor this way. But yeah, I think,
have a question.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So, Kira USD is a pool that gets used, right? So that's cool. But who is trading Kira against Mutai or against the Bonk? Nobody is doing that, right? So how is it working even that there is volume?
Oh, okay. Well, I think what Jupiter does. See, okay, so I did. Oops, I need more time. I think there's something under the hood, and this is my ignorance to this. I believe I've seen. All right, if I wanted to buy $1,000, and this is where the slippage kind of gets a little higher, the price impact gets a little higher. It's going to. Jupiter's gonna see, because it's using Jupiter. It's gonna go and check and see when and how you can get the best price, and that's when on Jupiter you see like two skips and a hop or something like that, and basically it goes to somewhere, splits up the funds, and if Motai is cheaper to buy, it's sometimes cheaper to buy that and then sell that into the Kira pool than it is for the price that the USDC pool is going. And this is why it's really fun, because it's a fee wars. Sometimes that 4% fee would make us not be the best price, so it pushes people to other pools, say like the Orca pool. But I think what it does is it sends some of that cash to buy some Motai, sell it back into Kira real quick. So it's kind of cool. So it's buying into that, then selling into that pool. So it's kind of pool hopping, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's finding the best price for you, and because there's a bit more liquidity there, in that if that got bigger and bigger, then it's able to offer better prices. And that's kind of why the 4% is cool, because it's able to offer a better price. Even though it's at a 4% charge, it's still better than the prices Orca's giving. Now, we can't just say Orca's good for nothing. It is still getting some volume. But because there's less people in this pool, the fees are spread out and rewarded to people a little differently. So I found that the Orca pool and the Meteora pool are sometimes, when things going off, they're pretty close to being the same rewards and percentages that you earn. Why would I choose one or the other? Meteora is, getting you the airdrop points, and it does something cool. I do like how Orca makes it so you can harvest your yield, but this one, just Meteora, re-injects your fees back into it and compounds the pool. So it's a really fun way, especially I think for like the community and stuff. We're not always on it, or sometimes we want to throw something in. So it's growing on itself, which is really cool to see. So when it goes up and down in those crazy price swings, it's great. We love to see that fat movement. That just means someone just bought up and then people are just selling into it. But if you're around that range of where you entered your pool, it's usually good. And with that context, I'm okay that we'll never see 1 cent again. I'm all right with that. I'm not trying to, I think where I'm at with my pool and the time I've been into it, I've earned more fees to survive, not just holding Kira during a 10x pump. That's pretty cool, I'd have to say. But that could change. It could be a different story for someone else, depending on where they entered and the time it took to shoot up. But since I've been in the pool for a while, just lagging, it was able to generate fees at these lower marks. You could see, I think the pool, we started it, actually cool, and the 29th of January is when it started. And then people kind of got into it more a couple weeks ago. But that's another thing too. You can see kind of where the pools are at by clicking. Instead of going to all pairs, you can click these guys and see what they're doing. And if you go to 15 minute, sometimes Orca's not always making a sell, but Meteora is. And what I like again too, and a good thought point is, even though you see it's they did half as much volume as we did, or we're both the same, Meteora and Orca, but to get the same amount of fee generation as this one, since this is 1%, that's like $400. This is at 82,000 times 4, so it's like, so Orca would have to do $328,000 in volume to generate the same amount of fees as the Meteora, which kind of sells that one. But yeah, no, that's a big portion of that. But yeah, of course there might be plenty of questions.
Yeah, I think this. Can you hear me, bro?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this. If you're gonna do it, the sooner you get in and the longer you let it run, the better. Once the whales come in and the yield goes down like crazy low, it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not really worth it right now. And the reason why I like that you're pushing the 4% is just like, yeah, we are risking our capital and we should be rewarded to bootstrap this liquidity.
Yeah.
For this coin, right?
Yeah,
eventually,
right.
It'll be self-sufficient, but right now it's community-based.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was definitely really advocating for 4%, because we started off with the 1, but once I got the taste of the 4, and I'm like, yeah, people are like, wow, you're risking that Kira, huh? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Well, fuck it. We're gonna charge a little more for that.
No, good point with the 4%. It's making sense, more and more sense to me now.
Yeah, and over time, it's probably gonna get pushed into the 1%. If the volume, the fee wars is what they call it, goes back and forth because liquidity. But right now, I see it. This is gonna we'll ride it for a while, see the announcements, that happen. You got April coming and stuff. Seems like a lot of volume then, and I think that's where, see what happens. I don't know if anything could happen, really. we're an open book, and to that speculation, yeah, I mean, we're just trying to be able to earn some extra Kira, because we can't do that anymore. But if you do it right, I think it's really advantageous. But it becomes a whales game, probably in a more late game kind of area for Kira. But honestly, if it's making 2%, 2% is 2%, right? So it could be whatever you're rocking. And with more liquidity becomes more volume too, and I think we've seen that recently. People are able to make those bigger buys without impacting the price as much, which becomes more fun to trade for sure.
It's interesting. We were struggling to stick around 2 cents there not that long ago. Now it's just like hovering around 10 cents.
Yeah.
How quickly things change.
Right? And now we're like, oh, we're finding support at 8 cents there.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's crazy, man.
Sweet. Right on. Sweet. Probably stop the recording there. It was a good time.